Hey guys, Vajosh Raptor here, and I'm going to show you how to get wood without using a pill in Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now before we go into the best places to collect wood, I'm going to show you my method and why I do it. I actually find that using bombs and alternating between the remote bombs works better than actually using an axe. If your axe is too low of a level, it takes 1, 2 chops to knock it over, and then it takes a third to actually make wood. With a bomb, you can throw it, detonate it, switch the bomb, throw it, and then blow it up. Now you'll see that both produced one pile of wood. This is totally random. You don't actually get more wood per chops, and the percentage of getting more wood using an axe versus getting a bomb is totally random. So in my opinion, you're better off using a bomb because you don't actually have any weapon wear and tear using remote bombs, and you have a chance of knocking over 2 trees at once, which is actually how we're going to try and get the most amount of wood within 5 minutes. One of the things that you can do with the axe is if you hold X and if your stamina meter is high enough, you can spin and then try and hit as many trees as possible, but the trees aren't that close together, and you also have to wait for your stamina meter to rebuild, which isn't super effective. If you have an axe or a weapon that is high enough, I'll show you with the Savage Lionel sword that's at 50, you can actually chop down a tree with one swipe, and then you'll still have to go back and hit it again. With an ancient battle axe, this is actually pretty great, but it's kind of dependent on how close the trees are to each other, and the bomb will always have more of a spread, and alternating between bombs basically means that there is no bomb cooldown, there's no stamina loss, and you can cover a wider area of destruction than you could with a more powerful axe. You know how to best farm trees, and now I will show you the best locations to farm those trees. So you'll want to go to the Rito Stable, and there's a couple reasons why I think that this is the best starting point for your wood farming. So what you're going to do is you're going to fast travel to the Akh Va'quot Shine, as you can see here. It's right inside the Rito Village, and then when you get here, you're going to want to go east, right over to the Rito Stable, where this pin is right here. So once you land, you want to turn immediately to your right and then start gliding off the side. And if you glide straight, you should land right on that island that's in front of me. You don't need any updrafts or anything like that. It should just be a straight shot to this last little island, and then you'll run across the bridge to the Rito Stable. So once you're at the Rito Stable, I recommend that you actually sit and then go to morning, just because you want to deal with as few enemies as possible. So if you start doing this at night, you'll have to deal with the little skeleton dudes that come up and things like that. So the first thing you want to do, go to morning. Now when you're here, there's a woodcutter's axe. You don't need the axe to actually chop down wood, and it's actually a little bit slower to use the axe, but one of the things that I like the axe for are to clean up pieces of wood that are too close to me to actually use the bomb technique. So if I was standing right here next to this piece of wood, it's a lot easier for me to use the axe than it is for me to pull out a bomb and blow it up right in front of my face. Another perk about being here at the Rito Stable are these huge piles of wood. They're actually available for you to blow up and take those pieces of wood. All of these piles are here for you to take. And this is actually what puts Rito Stable slightly ahead of some of the other farming locations, is that these pile of woods are just here right away. Something to note about these is that they do not respawn unless there's a blood moon. I sat by the campfire for 14 straight days and still nothing. So every blood moon or so, you can come back here and just collect almost 15 to 20 pieces of wood that are just sitting here without really doing anything. That's already kind of chopped down. So that's actually a huge bonus. Now, my method for collecting bombs are to start over here and then just run straight down between switching bombs, throwing them, and detonating it. And if you do it right, you should be able to knock over 2 or 3 trees at once. And if you can't, that's okay. What you're going to do is you're actually going to run down all the way and then turn around and head back and kind of clean up what you missed, and then come to this side. And as you come up this side, if you still missed any trees, you're going to kind of try and tackle these and the ones that you missed as you come up. And then once when they're all over, you turn around and you start taking down the trees again. And this is what I found to be the most efficient. You're just switching bombs, throwing them, knocking the trees down, not turning them to wood. So you'll just have a bunch of trees knocked over, come all the way down, turn around, and then use the bombs again to make those knocked over tree trunks pieces of wood for you to use in any campfire of your choice. I'm starting with 21, so that'll be the starting number. At the end of 5 minutes, we'll see how many pieces of wood I have after that. I've got 80 and I started with 21, which actually gives me 59. The amount of wood that comes out of a tree kind of is random, so sometimes it'll be higher and lower, but you should always get between 55 and 70 at the Rito Stable. And that was within 5 minutes. I mean, there were a couple of trees that I missed, especially down there. So if you cleared out this whole area, you would for sure have close to 70 or so pieces of wood just in this area alone, and this was within 5 minutes. So after you've gone to the Rito Stable and you've collected all your trees there, the next place that you should go to is the Mog Lantern Shrine, because here on the Satori Mountain there's a great cluster of trees and they all have apples on them. So not only do you collect wood, you also collect an insane amount of apples. So once when you get to the shrine, you're going to want to head east and a little bit north to this cluster right here. So we're gonna go to this green pin, and this whole area is just covered with apple trees. It's raining, it's a little annoying. It's not a deal breaker though. Once when you run up to that top and then you glide over, you should be in pretty good condition. Right here, all apple trees, and they are really close together. So we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock again and use the same alternating bomb technique, and then we'll see how many trees we can knock down and collect pieces of wood. Starting with 21 pieces of wood, so go ahead and set 5 minutes on the clock and then fast forward through this, and then we'll see how many pieces of wood we have after the 5 minutes. Actually, that took me about 3 minutes to clear out all those trees. And so I started with 21 and now I have 55. So that's 34 pieces of wood in 3 minutes, which is pretty great. And that's not even counting all of the amazing apples that are everywhere that I didn't have. That really wasn't a concern of mine. But after you finish chopping down all those trees. You've got all these great apples. And another good thing about this location is that, as you saw, I picked up an axe, although I didn't use it, but there's an axe here as well. And there you have it. Basically a foolproof way to get about 100 pieces of wood within 10 minutes. I hope this is all the wood that you'll ever need to help build Tarrytown, or tell all the spooky stories at all the campfires that you'll be hosting with this insane amount of wood that you have. I'm Josh Raptor, and that's about it.